Okay, so estimating the mean. You might notice that these values have gone. It means because I've already tried to estimate the mean, because I did my work really scruffily, I made a mistake, and that's this bit here where I was adding and I didn't line up the values. So I'm going to do it again and show you how it should have been done properly. So to estimate the mean, the reason it's called an estimate is because you are using the midpoints from these numbers here, okay? Because you can't use 0 or 5, you have to use the middle. So the middle of these is 2.5, 7.5, 12.5 and 17.5. If you can't do it in your head, you can add the numbers together and then halve it. So 0 add 5 is 5, half of 5 is 2.5. 5 add 10 is 15, 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So you can generate them like that. We're going to multiply these together, and you have to be able to multiply with decimals. Now, decimals are straightforward to multiply with, and you just got to pretend that they're not decimals to start them off basically. So I'm going to do 25 times by 4. I'm going to do 75 times by 7. I'm going to do 125, I was going to say 12.5 times by 9. And then I'm going to do 175 times by 15. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. They've all got one number behind the decimal point. So when I get my final answer, I'm going to move the decimal point in one. Okay, so if it's like 110, my answer will be 11. So let's have a look. 4 times 5 is 20, carry 2. 4 times 2 is 8, add that is 100. And therefore, for this one, I'll move decimal point one place in, it's going to be 10, because it was actually 2.5. 75 times 5 is 35, carry 3. 7 times 7 is 49, add that is 52. So for this one, it's going to be 52.5. Right, 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 2 is 18, add the 4 is 22. 9 times 1 is 9, add that is 11, so it's 112.5. 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2. 5 times 7 is 35, add that is 7, carry the 3. 1 times 5 is 5, add the 3 is 8. We're times in by 10 now. The 1 is actually a 10, so we actually have to add a 0. Whatever happens in this technique, you always place a 0 in now. You always do it. If you miss this off, you're going to get it wrong. So 1 times 5, 1 times 7, 1 times 1. And they all just get moved along one place by the 0. So I've got 5. 5 add 7 is 12, carry 1. That's 16, carry 1, and that's 2. So this one's going to be 262.5. And now I'm going to spend my time adding them carefully and trying to line up the values properly. Putting decimal points in line with each other will really help to eliminate any stupid mistakes, which I probably made when I first did this. Now they're lined up, I can just add them. So it's just calculate with decimals really. It's a good exam question because they're testing a lot of knowledge that you have to be able to do. So you have to be able to multiply with decimals. You have to be able to add, and you have to be able to divide like we're going to do in a minute. So that's 15, carry 1. That's 6, so that's going to be 7. This is going to be 13, and this is going to be 4. Okay, if I look at my other calculation, when I first did it, you can see it's different already. I had 447.5 because I just did this really scruffily, like a lot of you do. You don't line them up properly, and it wrecks your calculation. So you can see when I've done it properly now with structure, I've got it right. So I've multiplied, I've added, and that's where you normally get this here. I need to add these together, which I did in the first one, which is 35. And then it's the grand total, which is 437.5 divided by 35. So I'm going to be doing a bus stop method. To do the bus stop method, it's important that you write down your times tables, especially when they're like this. So just keep adding 35. Okay, so I've added 35s up. Take your time, make sure you've got it right. Add 5, then add 30, and it'll make it easier. So 35s that go into 4 is 0, carry 4. 35s that go into 43 is 1, remainder 8. And the reason I know I got to 35 when I did that, and I wanted 43. So the gap between these two is 8. The remainder is 8. So 8 goes here now. 35 into 87. You've got 1, 2, you get up to 70. So let's get to 87. I got to 70, that's 2 of them. Put the decimal point in, and that's the decimal dealt with. And that means it's 17 between these two. So I'm going to put 17 there. And then 35 into 175 is this. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the answer is 12.5. Okay, that took me nearly 6 minutes, and I'm fluent with doing my calculations. I can do it without thinking. I know what to do. So you guys will take a little bit more time than that, and it's only worth 4 marks. So it's one of those tough ones where you've got to do loads to get it, and it takes up a lot of your time. So hopefully there's quicker questions that are worth a few marks. That's not going to take ages, so we can claw some time back, because you've only got a limited amount of time. Right, this one. Use ruler and compasses to construct a perpendicular bisector of line AB. You must show your construction lines. So if you don't do it properly, you're not going to get them. So perpendicular means it's going to be at right angle going through. Bisector means it's going to be perfectly in the middle. The way to do it is very straightforward. Get your compass and pencil and open up so it goes over halfway, like that. And then do an arc like this. So do a nice big arc like that. It might look like it's taking the mick, going too big, but that's absolutely fine. And go from the other side like this. Okay. And then just join them up through the middle. Join the crosses, and it should go straight through the middle at right angle. And it does. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. There are a few different bisectors. Line bisectors, nice and easy. So that took me hardly any time at all. 2 minutes. I probably caught up a little bit on the marks from before. Right, the next one. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. Anything. Okay, so a little stick man to the power of 0 is 1. Minus on powers is code. The minus stands for 1 over. Okay, so I've got 5 to the minus 2. The minus means it's 1 over. Then the 5 squared can go on the bottom. And then 5 times 5 is 25. So it's 1 over 25. Fractional powers are like little codes. So the bottom of it tells you what kind of root you're going to do. And the top of them tells you what kind of power you're going to do. But as the power's 1, there's not going to be any powers. So this is actually just going to be the square root of 16. The square root of 16 is 4.